What's up YouTube? Welcome to New Parents in Training. So today we're going to talk about kitchen helpers, specifically about this brand called Guidecraft. So we have here 3 different designs. Actually today I'm going to talk about mainly about this 2. Now the reason why I have 3 designs here, I'm going to talk about this 2 toward the end. They are actually from the same type of model, but a little bit different in terms of the design itself. But this one has a really big issue. So I'm going to talk about it toward the end of the show, but mainly today I just want to talk about this one and that one over there. So the white one is called the Kitchen Helper Stool. The brown or espresso color is called Step Up Kitchen Helper. All right, so let's get the show started. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. So let's just jump right into it. The setup for this 2, for this particular one, the Kitchen Helper Stool is really simple. Well, once you unbox it, and once you unfold it, there's a latch you have to just put it on. And that's pretty much it. And what you need to do else is to set up the feet. So there are 2 feet per corner, so there's 8 total. So the initial setup for this one is very straightforward, very simple. Right, so the same cannot be said about the step-up kitchen helper. The setup for this one was actually straightforward, but takes a really long time. Now, preferably, you might need to have 2 people to help you with it. The most frustrating part is this center, this step. I was not able to do it by myself, and my wife had to jump in to help out. So you need to have 2 people kind of stabilize the whole thing in order for you to install the centerpiece. Why it's so difficult is one, the part that held down the screw, it keeps falling down every time I try to install it when it stands upright. So you kind of have to lay it down on the side in order for you to install the middle piece. So once that's done, everything else seems to be relatively easy. Now, you can lower the steps by 3 inches. For the kitchen helper, how you will proceed is to loosen up the screws on the top portion first. So that way, once the bottom screws are being released, then you just kind of shift everything downward. And the process is not that hard, it just takes a little bit of time. But not the same about the step-up kitchen helper. This one, like I mentioned earlier, the centerpiece, you do require a second person to help. So when you are trying to lower this, then you will also need to have a second person in order to successfully lower this. If your baby is still fairly young but able to stand, you might want to set the stool to the highest point. But when the baby is a little bit taller, then you can lower the stool as you see fit. And again, the height that you can adjust is only 3 inches lower if you started from the top already. Both these 2 kitchen helpers, they have anti-slippery material on top of the stairs. So that way will prevent the kid to slip if the step gets wet. So that's really great to have to prevent any fall that will occur. As far as for safety, for the kitchen helper stool, it's been covered all around. So there are mesh screen on both sides, and there are some cut up openings on the wooden side as well. So all 4 sides being covered. So once the kid is inside here, you can close the screen and the kid should not be able to fall through from the side. But the same cannot be said about the step-up kitchen helper. Well, of course, the front is open because the kid has to climb through, but on the side is open, as you can see here, and on the back is also open. A lot of time what happens is if you leaning this against a counter where the counter has a wall, then this is perfect, right? The kid should not be able to fall through. But if your kitchen counter has hollow point, or the place you want to place this stool has hollow point, then the kid might just step and then it will go out the other way, as you see here. So from the safety point of view, the kitchen helper stool is definitely much better. Yeah, this one, there's too many openings for the kid to come out. All right, as far as for the transportation and storage, this 2, the difference is pretty big. For the kitchen helper stool, you can fold it up and take it with you when you move it from room to room, and you can store it with ease since it's been folded up. But as far as for the step-up kitchen helper, as you can see, it's kind of bulky. So if you put in the storage, this is what it's gonna be look like unless you take it apart. But when you transport, it's quite easy for this one because it kind of have the handle opening on top for each side, so you can just grab and go. The kitchen helper stool is more expensive at $199 at the time of filming. Now for the step-up kitchen helper, this one is $129 at the time of filming. If you want to see the most up-to-date pricing, check out the link in the description below. All right, so we've been using this tool for months now, and the kitchen helper stool, this one has been really helpful. Especially when we try to teach our kid what we are doing, kind of show him. So that's something for him to do. At the same time, he can learn stuff while we are either cutting the fruits, cutting the veggie, and to cook, and he can kind of pretend he can help, even though most of the time he just make a mess of everything. But yeah, it's been fun. This is something I definitely recommend parents to get, especially for kitchen helper stool. Now, as far as for this step up, now even though it's much cheaper, but the problem is there's too many openings for the kids to kind of fall through. So if you're not paying attention, the kid might be just slip and then it's down on the floor. Now, granted, it's not that high off the floor, but you know, that fall is a fall. And also, in order for you to lower this, it's much harder. It takes about 2 people to do so. Now, this one is really easy to assemble and just much more engaging. Like when you are cooking or cutting stuff, you don't have to focus whether or not your kid is still inside here. So you can have less thing to worry about. In terms of value, even though this one it costs $70 more than the step up, I would still recommend this helper stool. It's also easy to store as well. All right, lastly, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we have this two. They are both the helper stool, but we got this one first, but then we realized there's a major flaw with this one. So we end up getting this one as a replacement. So the problem with this particular design is, you see those openings, the star, square, and circle here. Initially, they look cool, but then we're soon to realize our kid like to put his feet within those star or circle and to climb up. So step by step, he will just climb out of the stool all by himself. So that was really scary. So one time he managed to climb all the way to almost to the top portion, and before we caught him. So to us, it was very dangerous because we don't know what will he do. Like once he get on the top, he might just fall to the ground. So in terms of safety, this is definitely a no-go. I'm really serious about this one. They need to just stop selling this one altogether because this is really dangerous with the design like this, with the opening. The kid just gonna climb through. But for this design, as you can see, the opening is very narrow. And so our kid cannot put his feet in there. So that's really a relief once we realized they have a design like this. So that's the one we went with. So anyway, if you have any questions, comment down below. Until next time, bye.